Hello everyone. What exciting times to live in. Yes, really. It's just about there. It's just about climbed up all the steep cliffs and hills, and we come to the place where we finally can open ourselves and start enjoying the joy of what's coming. Yes, it won't be all fine and roses, there will be thorns too, but it's all good. We reached a point where things will naturally, organically flow in the right direction. Why I say that, why I'm so sure? Well, this chart says it all by itself. That's the full moon chart of October 20th, of this coming Wednesday. 10, 20, 20, 21, power number, no question in that. All the many zeros. Zeros are jokers. They allow to be replaced by any other number. That's the one thing in numerology which not is much known. Was actually a discovery which came to me at some point. Any date with a zero in it has a special power of adaptability, of taking on whatever value necessary. Like it is if you're in a poker round, if you're the joker can be turned into any card to complete that whatever card structure you have there in front of you, whatever. You know what I'm meaning. So Jupiter rising, that's expansion. That's kind of like and Jupiter's still in the 12th house, so it's actually already past the ascendant, because the ascendant moves this way, or in other words, the zodiac moves that way as it grows out of the eastern horizon. So Jupiter is already above horizon, in other words. That's even better, because that's also the house where Jupiter is honored in, the 12th house, happiness. It's that energy of just enjoying abundance brought by nature, brought by existence. So that's coming. That's the theme of this coming 4-week period globally, collectively, with Venus in the center of the heavens. And that's also where the great attractor is at 14 degrees and 22 minutes, very close there in between. And Huya is here too. So let's translate what this 10th house cusp is, which is the focal point where we are expressing ourselves through. It's the plumb line, it's the crown of the tree where we naturally grow towards the light. Venus up there, Venus bringing harmony and balance back to this planet. In Sagittarius, very fiery, very committed, guided by the fire of the heart. Sagittarius is the sign of adventure, of taking on big projects. It's Jupiter's sign, so Jupiter in that sense is the dispositor of Venus. Venus and Jupiter are in astrology known as the two benefices, the lesser and the greater benefice. That's what's also taught in Vedic astrology. Goes back thousands of years. When these two appear in consort, then things are, no question, very auspicious. That's what this chart looks in many ways, and I will focus today just on to this chart. I will show a few others just on the side, but this is such a important turning point we are just approaching. And it has been building. I mean, it has been building since I would say yes, since long time, but most recently since the beginning of this month, naturally, with the new moon on the 6th of October, Pluto turning direct just hours later, then Saturn turning direct on the 10th of October in sync with Chariklo, turning direct again as well, and then Ceres turning retrograde. So there were a whole bunch of planets changing directions. Then just now, as I'm recording this, pretty much Jupiter is turning direct, then Mercury on the 18th. Saturn and Uranus will have their heliocentric 90-degree angle. Actually, it's 270 degree to be exact. That's how far Saturn has traveled ahead of Uranus over the last 30 plus years. So this is the heliocentric 90-degree angle, or as I say, 270 if you count Saturn's path. The pinnacle of this year energetically. Heliocentric plans always move forward, versus if you look from our earthly perspective, because Earth is kind of like the pendulum on a clock and moving from left to right, as seen from the greater cosmos. So for that, the perspective of whatever is out there always slightly shifts depending on the Earth. That's why we have retrogrades in the first place. So from Earth's perspective, Saturn here and Uranus here have 3 exact squares as seen from Earth. You see now they're really not very close to a square as seen from Earth, but if we go to the heliocentric chart, which is right here, then you see that's when they are exact at 12:35 Aquarius, Saturn at 12:35 Taurus, that's Uranus, that is on the 19th, as I say. So let's go back to the full moon chart here. Just wanted to throw this in to kind of illustrate how important a moment this first full moon is after that exact Saturn-Uranus square. And this is big because Saturn, in a nutshell, is the old, Uranus the new. It's the clash of the old and the new. And you could say, for that time when that angle is approached, the pressure rises, the intensity increases, and then comes a release point when they are exact, and from there on things are changing direction, you could say. It's like when you approach something, there's a pressure, and when you separate, there's a space opening. Something new is possible from there on forward. And this full moon is kind of the fractal which nails this down for us here on Earth, shows the new setting of climate energetically for the next few weeks. Interesting, the degree 2726, that is in a exact sextile to the galactic center, 2709. So the galactic center is here tied into the geometry. Whenever the galactic center is tied in, that means there's some higher dimensional energies which are able to come down and show themselves through us. We kind of then become receptive to these higher energies, and they are out there. It's all the guardians, considering the galaxy is kind of our home, and the center of our galaxy is the center of our universe, in many ways said, because in a simple way illustrated, all the stars out there you can see in the night sky are part of this galaxy of Milky Way. And the heart of Milky Way is in Sagittarius A, which is at the 27th degree of Sagittarius now. That moves slowly through the zodiac due to the precession of the equinoxes. So every 72 years that appears to be moving 1 degree ahead. That's the great ages, by the way. So the galactic center is the representation of all these higher dimensional energies which are pouring in and helping us to get through this bottleneck, I would say. And we're just kind of at that place where the pressure really is at its most intense. We can feel it all. And those who don't really see where this is really coming from, they will soon have a big awakening. It's a spiritual war. So Mars is in a perfect trine to the ascendant. Mars at the cusp of the 8th house, already resonating with Scorpio, where Mars will enter by the end of this month on the 30th of October. And heliocentrically, Mars will enter Scorpio on the 10th of November or 9th of November around. So Mars in the Scorpionic energy, this is the execution of the plans, giving it a strong voice and acting on it. Mars is ruling in Scorpio, is the co-ruler with Pluto, so this energy is just starting. The next few days will be the build-up, actually the 10 days from the 20th to the 30th. This is really a building of the story. That will be when, as I see it, lots of disclosure will happen. Lots of people will be called out for what they are and what they have done. And this will send shockwaves through society, no question. We can see that on so many levels in astrology, by particularly Ceres and the black moon. It's kind of the home bringing of that shadow to fully give it expression in Gemini, where also the North Node is, which is about where we are heading to in an evolutionary sense, coming from Sagittarius, from the higher wisdom, bringing it down, explaining it to the normies, as Cliff High would say, to the people who are totally lost in the program. So this is a great calling to be of service and to be gentle and naturally very empathic, sensing what every person you meet is able to take or not. So don't overwhelm people. Let the universe help them. They will find their teachers, their experiences, their information inflow into their world at the right moment in time, which will change everything. Venus, as I said, the galactic at the great attractor. The great attractor is next to the galactic center, the next powerful most spot. It is where astronomers have found all the clusters in our local galaxy, in our local universe, and that's much bigger than our galaxy actually. That's our whole local universe, the Virgo cluster, where all these galaxies are heading towards. It's a merging point. It's a point of great attraction, as the word great attractor says. There's a charisma about that point. So this point here in the center of the heavens is in itself a most powerful sign. Huya is named after a Venezuelan rain god, and I want to read you here the few words I have here in my notes. It's a Plutino, means it's in the family of Pluto. That means it's roughly on a 250-year orbit like Pluto. A god of rain and winter. Asks us to open ourselves to transform fixed patterns. Patterns from past lives. And this also would mean from the past life of our society, of these past decades, of the experiences we have been going through. Transformation of all these fixed patterns from past lives to free oneself and transition to more flexible expressions. Psychotherapy. Elimination of a mental virus. Okay. Guess it's pretty powerful stuff. So this is, by the way, the ascendant of the United States of America, the independence chart, as you see here, also the great attractor here, which in my opinion explains a lot about that everybody on the whole planet, if you ask them, where would you like to go to America? Yes, that is the thing. I guess it can't be said easier than that. It is that great attractor at work. So this means also for the United States, Venus and Huya here are at their ascendant, which in itself will indicate that some big shifts and changes are just happening. And it is naturally, I guess it's no surprise when I say that the big change will start breaking free from oppression and from the dark past in America. And I guess Phoenix is one of the power centers there. This will be one of the places where the whole wave will be kicked off, the whole disclosure, you name it, revelation of truths and the findings from investigations which have been going on for many years. So all that seems to fit in with the Red October, and those of you who are kind of following my channel, on October 1st, the White House was lit up in red. I said immediately, okay, who controls the game here? Anyway, I will leave it at that for that. But I want to say 27 degrees, that's the galactic center. Now, if we go just back to when Jupiter turns direct, which is just about now as I'm recording this, the moon 27 degrees 35 in Pisces also ties into the galactic center. So that 27 degrees is really a powerful degree. Always when you have a planet in that area, then you are kind of a recipient more than others of higher dimensional galactic energies, passageway. Let's go back to the full moon for one more moment before we go on to the other charts. I still wanted to quickly show you, run by you. So let me see what else. Okay, yes, that was on my mind. Sorry, it took me a second. I want to tell you something about this degree. 2308 Aquarius. That is within the segment resonating with I Ching hexagram 49 revolution. How about that? Jupiter in revolution, and has been now for months on end, just turns now direct again. 2430 will be the degree when Jupiter will enter the next hexagram, but for now in 49 revolution, I show you here quickly as it looks in the overlay of the zodiac. This is from my old website, just mentioning this quickly. This is the cosmoswithin.org. I cannot update that site anymore any longer, so it's what it is. But there's some great source material there, this being one of them. That is derived from the human design system. That's part of the teaching, that overlay of the 64 hexagrams. Very, very powerful stuff and great information. So I'm just showing you now this segment where the ascendant is in this full moon chart and where Jupiter is. So the ascendant is in the 5th line versus Jupiter is still in the 4th line. If you count from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. So if we now go into the description of the oracle, and that is here, 49. That is fire within the lake. What takes place, as indicated by Ko, that's the Chinese name of the hexagram, is believed in only after it has been accomplished. The revolution is something so new, you don't know what will be the outcome of it, so it will be a great surprise. And how about that? It really feels true. That's what's coming, a great surprise. There will be great progress and success. Advantage will come from being firm and correct. In that case, repentance will disappear. That's all which is asked from us, to be firm and correct, to follow with what we have been doing. Just keep on doing it. Be a little more patient, just a tiny bit more. Now the 5th line, that's where the ascendant is in, and I'm highlighting this quickly here so you can also read it easier. The 5th line as a 9, that means when it's elevated, when it's activated and it turns into a changeable line, and when a planet is in a line, that's what means it's activated. Shows the great man producing his changes as the tiger does when he changes his stripes. So this refers to the tiger. And the tiger is fierce. I want to jump here also to this, because there's it's a little convoluted there on the other side. The 5th line, okay, shows the great man producing his changes as the tiger does when he changes his stripes. Before he divines and proceeds for action, faith has been reposed in him. Which means at this point we don't even have to ask the oracle anymore. It's obvious. It is no question to it that this is the moment of victory. We have been waiting long enough. Sure, I mean, many of you will still be surprised because we have been kind of disappointed many times, you could say. We had told, oh no, it's not your time, still a little longer, hang in there. The case is not complete yet, the time has not fully arrived yet. So this is where we are at right now. I could add quite a few more things here, maybe just a few more. Yeah, a few more. I mean, this is just so amazing that Mercury turns direct opposing Chiron. Let me just go there for a second. That is this chart. That's tomorrow, Monday, 10:07, 9:59, a very exact opposition. Chiron is the wounded healer. When Chiron shows up, we are meant to face some difficulties which then will lead us to greater integration. That's in a nutshell. We're getting a problem thrown into our lives to become wiser, to expand our understanding of what's going on. That's how Chiron works. There is a sextile here from the Black Moon and Ceres, and that again is on for the whole time. All these points move relatively slow, as Mercury anyway is kind of practically at standstill for a few days. So these aspects are a general theme of all that, I would say, 2-3 week period between middle of October till early November. This is that kind of spill of information which we are just about to see fully unfolding. That aspect will be exact on the 26th, 27th around. So there's many things still getting exact over the next few days. I should quickly run you through here this. So as I say, Jupiter turns direct. That's on today, Monday, early morning in Greenwich, late night here in America. Then Mercury, some 10-15 hours later, turns direct. Meanwhile, with the moon in Aries, very important, that Aries energy of starting something new, being forceful and to the point. Mars rules here, and Mars has this beautiful trine with Jupiter. And then there's also a Lotus here, a Lotus, a very interesting centaur. A Lotus actually was the one who accidentally redirected the arrow Heracles was shooting, and then happened to hurt Chiron in that famous battle of the centaurs. So a Lotus brings in an unexpected shift in that sense. Throws in something which nobody really saw coming. And then the Helio Saturn Uranus square on the 19th, yes. And then this is the same chart as seen from Earth. Just want to stay for one more second here, because this is again a very, very important moment, as I said already, energetically, when Uranus and Saturn are coming to the release phase. Basically, starting a whole new 10-year cycle or so till the two planets will be perfectly conjunct again. Might be a bit less than that, but somewhere a multi-year phase. What's here again interesting is Mercury again connecting with Huya, which we just mentioned before, the one which resolves issues of past lives and integrates what has gone wrong before, in square to Okiroi, which is acting as an amplifier, accelerator, and also Nessus here being all the dark energies which are now x-rayed and looked at most closely, all the pathological behavior which has been ruling our society for too long, which now gets exposed and called out for what it is. I guess that's what's really going on. That is the great breakthrough we're having, that things are called out, that the mainstream media are finally being replaced gradually by, I guess, first of all having to not being able to hide things anymore, and then I guess being called out pretty soon in a very strong way. We are now in the phase of taking these powers down. Finally, everything points towards that. Again, 2021 being the real year of change, not 2012 as many people expected it to be. That was that slight inversion of the numbers which tricked us to prepare for 2012, which was certainly a good thing. We were doing some overtime there and still were not ready, and now have at least accelerated to a point where we hopefully are ready now. And I guess we are, in a collective way speaking. Naturally, many people will still have to catch up, but there's enough of us who can be holding hands and being helpful and whatever is necessary to guide and help and support, assist those who are just about realizing where they live, in what convoluted and distorted reality we really are. So this is all pretty hard and tough to realize, and that is what we definitely see in this black moon. And Ceres here, North Node, Sedna here at the cusp of the third house of this Mercury direction change, which is probably the best chart to realize what in perception, in terms of perception, is happening on this planet now, because Mercury rules perception. Mercury is our ability to discern and to compare, to think in the first place, because thinking is the ability to remember and to envision, which is what creates time. So Mercury is a very important planet for us humans in particular, as being the thinking creatures. Interesting here also the 29th degree of Leo in this chart, which is a degree very strong in President Trump's chart. It's his ascendant, and that's also where Regulus is. Regulus, the one of the four royal stars, actually the one which is closest to the ecliptic. That's the path where the sun apparently moves through the sky. Regulus, a very bright star, the heart of the lion, Alpha Leonis. It's that vortex in space which moves at an incredible speed, so much so that Regulus at its equator is 1/3 larger than at its equators. So it spins so fast, if it would only spin 10% faster, it would fly apart. Regulus, and I guess if you connect with that picture I'm painting you here, you understand what a powerhouse President Trump is with this degree rising. That's why he could take it. He could be standing in that blasting opposition, in that animosity for so long. I mean, yeah, I guess it needs some very special armor to be able to face all that, such opposition. And this energy here at the 7th house cusp, that is very interesting. You can think of it what you want, but it definitely relates to that energy of opposing and of confronting what is no more relevant in this dimension. So I guess I keep it at that. I had much more planned here, but I want to keep it shorter this time and do another one soon. Thank you for listening, and if you liked it, then subscribe or share it. Okay. Good night.